Imagine your biggest, most important project of the quarter is just, well, failing.
Right.
And it's not because the code is broken or, because the budget ran dry. It's failing because Steve in accounting simply doesn't feel like prioritizing your
Oh,
emails.
we have all been there.
You know the feeling, because we so often think about our jobs strictly in terms of the physical tasks we do, like writing the report, designing the presentation, balancing the spreadsheet.
Yeah, we treat the workplace like this perfectly rational machine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if you look closely, that machine, it doesn't run on electricity or logic or even coffee. The invisible engine driving absolutely everything we do is how we manage relationships.
It really is.
Especially with colleagues we rely on every single day, but over whom we have absolutely zero formal authority.
Right. It is kind of the ultimate workplace paradox. You know,
Mhm.
you are completely dependent on people who have literally no contractual obligation to do exactly what you need them to do, exactly when you need it. And navigating that space, that's where the true mechanics of professional success are actually hidden.
And that is exactly our mission for you today. We are going to shortcut your journey to becoming incredibly well-informed about the hidden mechanics of those professional relationships.
Absolutely.
We are pulling our insights today from this really brilliant framework developed by Francis Flynn at the Stanford Graduate School of Business. It focuses on resolving conflict and building rapport.
It's a fantastic piece of work.
Okay, let's unpack this, because diving into this material completely shifts how you view every single interaction in the office. It's not just about, being nice.
Right. No, there is an actual science to how connection functions at work.
Yeah.
And I think the overarching theme here is that relationship success in a professional setting, well, it isn't random magic.
Right.
It doesn't rely on having naturally complementary personalities or discovering you both root for the same sports team or whatever.
Which is a huge relief, honestly.
Oh, completely, because instead it is built systematically on three distinct pillars. And those are resources, respect, and rapport.
Okay.
So if you're listening to this and you're thinking about that one colleague you constantly clash with, or a collaboration you desperately want to elevate, you really have to examine these three pillars.
I really love that structure. Resources, respect, rapport. The 3 R's.
The 3 R's, yeah.
But before we get into the deeply human, messy, emotional side of connection.
So just a rapport piece, right?
Exactly. We have to establish the transactional foundation first. We have to start with the first 2 R's, resources and respect.
You have to, because you simply cannot build genuine rapport if that baseline professional exchange isn't functioning.
Right.
Think of resources first. When we hear the word resources in a corporate setting, I mean, our minds immediately go to budgets or headcount or maybe software license.
Oh, totally. Just tangible assets.
Right. But Flynn's framework defines it much, much more broadly. A workplace resource is basically an exchange that makes both individuals better.
And the specific examples of this in the text are what really caught my eye, because it's obviously about completing a task that helps get work done. We all know that.
Sure.
But it also includes taking actions that enhance the other person's status in the organization.
Yes, that's a big one.
It involves helping them establish or repair relationships that really matter to them. And this one actually surprised me. It includes providing socio-emotional support.
It's interesting you bring that up, yeah.
I just have to admit, seeing socio-emotional support listed as a literal workplace resource, it sounds almost too therapeutic for a business school framework, doesn't it?
It really does challenge the traditional corporate mindset, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But consider the reality of the modern workday. I mean, the pressure is immense.
It's exhausting.
Right. So if a colleague backs you up in a high-stakes meeting when you're getting completely grilled by leadership, they aren't just being friendly.
Right.
They are providing you with a tangible resource. They are enhancing your status and offering socio-emotional support simultaneously.
Wow, okay, so it's like a workplace barter system.
Exactly.
We aren't just trading physical goods and services. We are trading stress relief and status and validation.
Yeah.
If I let you vent for 5 minutes after a rough client call, I am giving you a valuable resource.
Spot on. And in successful professional relationships, that resource exchange, it balances out over time.
Okay.
The fundamental challenge, however, is knowing what currency the other person is actually trading in.
Ah, right.
If you want to be a valuable resource to a colleague, you can't just guess what they need. You have to actively learn about their objectives, their immediate next steps, their main stressors, and, crucially, how their performance is actually evaluated.
Right, because If I'm offering you, daily emotional support, but your main stressor is that you desperately need someone to help format a slide deck.
Because your performance review is based entirely on the aesthetic quality of your presentations, right?
Exactly. Then my emotional support is completely useless to you. It's like buying a brand new, top-of-the-line ergonomic chair for an employee who works entirely remote. Like, it's a nice gesture, but it completely misses the mark of what they actually need.
And that misalignment happens constantly in the workplace.
Yeah.
You're basically offering the wrong currency.
Yeah.
Which naturally brings us to the second pillar of the baseline foundation, which is respect.
Right.
Much like resources, respect isn't just a one-size-fits-all commodity. People confer respect for a wide variety of reasons. And you have to understand what matters to the specific individual sitting right in front of you.
So what does this all mean in practice? Like, how do we actually tailor respect? The material points to evaluating their primary needs, their background, and their views.
Let's break down those primary needs first, because they usually fall into three main categories.
Okay.
Some people have a really high need for status. Others have a high need to achieve something tangible, and others have a deep, deep need for control.
Got it.
If you want to show respect to a colleague, you absolutely must tailor your approach to their specific driver.
Okay, let's say I'm working with someone whose primary need is control. I can't just throw generic praise at them like, hey, great job getting that report done so fast.
Right, because that speaks to achievement, not control.
To show genuine respect to that specific person, I might need to ask for their input on the project timeline or, defer to them on the final sign-off before it goes to the client.
Exactly. That targeted approach signals that you truly see them. You are validating what they genuinely value.
Right.
And it also extends to factoring in their background, like their prior jobs, their training, their contacts, and just generally how they view the world.
Give me an example of that.
Well, for instance, if you know your colleague prides themselves on being a rigorous, data-driven decision maker because of their background in, say, mechanical engineering.
Right.
You don't show them respect by pitching a new idea based on your gut feeling. You show them respect by bringing hard data to the table.
Yeah, so it's highly customized.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we have these first two R's dialed in, like we are exchanging the right resources based on their actual stressors, and we are conferring tailored respect based on their primary needs. Right. We have a highly functional working relationship. Things are getting done, but it might still feel a bit, sterile.
Yes, very transactional.
And that brings us to the third R, which is where things transition from functional to frictionless. Rapport.
Resources and respect keep the machine running, but rapport is the oil that stops the gears from grinding.
I like that.
A relationship with high rapport is friendly, it's harmonious, and it's characterized by a deep mutual understanding and empathy.
But here's the million-dollar question. How do you manufacture empathy from scratch?
And that's the challenge.
Especially with a colleague you just don't naturally click with. Like, you can't just mandate that two people understand each other.
No, you can't mandate it, but psychologists have proven you can actually engineer it.
Right.
There is this truly fascinating tool developed by a researcher named Arthur Aaron. It's often referred to as the fast friends activity.
Yes.
It's used a lot in behavioral experiments.
Yeah.
And the results are consistently remarkable. Random strangers who complete this specific conversational exercise develop a level of connection and closeness that rivals long-term friendships.
Entirely from scratch.
Entirely from scratch.
It's essentially a guided conversation, but it comes with very strict rules. First, you must alternate who answers first.
Crucial role.
Second, both people must answer the question before moving on to the next one. Like, you can't just interrogate the other person. You have to participate equally.
Right.
And the questions themselves, they aren't your typical water cooler chat about the weather.
No, not at all. They are meticulously designed to escalate in intimacy over a very short period of time.
I was looking through the list, and it's wild how the progression actually works. Like, one of the early ones is, given the choice of anyone in the world, whom would you want as a dinner guest?
Which is safe.
Very safe. It's fun. It tells you a little bit about their interests without requiring them to expose any real vulnerabilities.
Right. Then it nudges you a little bit further. It asks, would you like to be famous? And in what way? Or what would constitute a perfect day for you?
Those are still relatively safe, I think. But then it starts pushing deeper. If a crystal ball could tell you the truth about yourself, your life, the future, or anything else, what would you want to know?
See, answering that requires some actual honest thought about your own underlying anxieties, or hopes.
Yeah, you can't just brush that off.
No. And the escalation continues into territory we almost never explore at work. Like if you knew that in 1 year you would die suddenly, would you change anything about the way you are now living, and why?
I mean, that is a very heavy question for a Tuesday afternoon with Steve from accounting.
It really is.
And then there's this one. Your house, containing everything you own, catches fire. After saving your loved ones and pets, you have time to safely make a final dash to save any one item. What would it be and why?
That one always gets people.
I love this activity. It really is like a conversational trust fall.
Oh, that's a good way to describe it.
You start by just leaning back slightly with the dinner guest question, and by the end, you are in an absolute freefall discussing house fires and your own mortality.
It's a very apt analogy.
Yeah.
But you have to remember, this isn't just some parlor trick to play at a corporate retreat. There are complex psychological mechanics underneath why these quirky questions successfully engineer rapport.
Here's where it gets really interesting, because understanding the 5 specific psychological pillars that make this Fast Friends protocol work, it allows you to build those relationships even when you aren't formally playing the game.
Exactly. And the first of those pillars is vulnerability.
Okay.
Willingly disclosing things we don't discuss every day builds a profound sense of trust. Generally, human beings react very positively to others' self-disclosure.
Right.
When you share something slightly vulnerable, and the other person responds with kindness or understanding, you feel accepted. It just jumpstarts the connection.
But wait, what if I share that vulnerability, like maybe a mistake I made on a past project, and the person uses it against me later in a meeting?
That's a valid concern.
Because that brings up a massive barrier to vulnerability in the workplace.
It does. And what's fascinating here is how the second pillar, confidentiality, addresses that exact fear. Establishing confidentiality is totally non-negotiable for trust to form.
Right.
When you engage in this kind of sharing, there is an implicit expectation of privacy. In fact, research shows this type of activity fails miserably in larger groups.
Wait, really? Why does it fail in a group?
Well, because true vulnerability requires a contained environment. Participants simply don't feel the necessary sense of safety when there are multiple listeners.
Ah, I see.
In order to share freely, we really need to trust that our words won't be broadcast. The one-on-one dynamic offers a crucial sense of privacy that allows the mechanism of trust to actually engage.
That makes total sense. You wouldn't share what you'd save in a house fire with a boardroom full of people judging you. Okay, so what if I share something private one-on-one, but the other person just stares at me or, deflects with a joke?
And that's where the third pillar comes in. Reciprocity.
Yeah. Okay.
This is exactly why the rules of the Fast Friends activity require turn-taking. Relationships need to feel balanced. Reciprocity acts as a sort of real-time gauge to see if the relationship investment is mutual.
Right.
If you risk some social capital by sharing something real and the other person refuses to meet you there, the reciprocity is broken. You basically know not to invest further.
So it's a built-in safety valve. You test the waters together, which leads to the 4th pillar, specificity. But why do we need these elaborate hypothetical scenarios? Like, why not just ask, do you like your job? Or are you happy?
Well, because close-ended questions just invite superficial answers. You can answer yes or no to, are you happy?
Right.
But you cannot answer yes or no to what constitutes a perfect day. Specificity forces open-ended, detailed storytelling. Sharing the granular details of our lives generates a much stronger sense of closeness than, just exchanging abstract pleasantries.
Okay, but how does knowing someone wants to save a photo album in a fire actually help me collaborate with them on a Q3 marketing plan?
Which perfectly brings us to the final pillar, authenticity.
Okay.
Over the course of exploring these specific, vulnerable scenarios, you aren't just collecting random trivia about your coworker. Indirect themes start to emerge.
I see. So if their perfect day involves a quiet hike alone, and the item they'd save in a fire is a handwritten letter from their grandfather, and the thing they want a crystal ball to tell them is that their children will find fulfilling careers.
Right.
A very clear theme forms.
Exactly. You begin to see their true, deep-down values. You see authentic human being, not just the professional mask they wear to strategy meetings.
Wow, yeah.
And when you understand someone's authentic values, collaborating on that Q3 marketing plan becomes infinitely easier because you understand what fundamentally motivates them.
So we have the baseline exchange of resources and respect, and we have this incredible roadmap for engineering rapport through vulnerability, confidentiality, reciprocity, specificity, and authenticity.
We do.
But let's be real. We don't live in a corporate utopia.
No, we certainly do not.
And no matter how much rapport you build, you are inevitably going to hit a wall. You are going to experience friction with a coworker.
It is entirely unavoidable. And when you hit that wall, the framework shifts from relationship building to conflict resolution. And the core tool required here is rigorous perspective taking.
Perspective taking is basically just getting out of your own head, right?
Pretty much.
It's looking beyond your own point of view to genuinely consider how another person understands or feels about a situation, and examining how their motivations wildly differ from your own.
It sounds really simple, but it is incredibly taxing mental work. To effectively debug a conflict, you have to ask yourself 4 critical questions about the other person. First, what does this person spend their time doing?
Because people will tell you their priorities are one thing, but their calendar never lies.
Never.
How they spend their hours is the absolute strongest indicator of what actually matters to them.
Exactly. Then, the second question requires looking at the system itself. How is the evaluation of their performance different from my own?
Oh, this is huge.
We so often assume that because we work for the same company, we obviously share the same goals. But structural misalignments cause massive friction.
Let's play this out because this is such a common trap. Let's say I'm in sales and my performance evaluation and my bonus is based entirely on speed, like closing deals as fast as possible.
Okay.
But you are in legal and your performance is evaluated on achieving 0 errors and maintaining total compliance.
In that scenario, our goals are fundamentally diverging. You are pushing me to move faster, which threatens my performance review, and I am slowing you down to check every single clause, which directly threatens your bonus.
So the conflict isn't because you're a difficult person or because I'm reckless. The friction is built into the organizational structure.
Exactly. And recognizing that takes the conflict out of the realm of personal annoyance and reframes it as misaligned incentives.
Which is a much easier problem to solve.
Far easier. Now, the third question for perspective taking is often the hardest to face. You have to ask yourself, what makes this person anxious about me?
Okay, I have to stop you there, because when I first read that, it felt completely backwards.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah. When I'm in a conflict with someone, I am spending like 100% of my energy thinking about why they annoy me, what are they doing wrong, why are they being difficult.
Of course.
To flip the script and ask what makes them anxious about me, it's totally counterintuitive. It's like suddenly realizing you might be the final boss in your coworker's video game without even knowing it.
Huh? That's brilliant.
Right. Maybe my level of technical expertise is intimidating them? Or maybe the way I effortlessly joke with the department head makes them anxious about their own standing in the team.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, your final boss analogy perfectly captures the dynamic. The research explicitly states that anxiety is a massive predictor of relationship failure.
Wow.
If a colleague feels high anxiety around you, the collaboration will suffer completely, regardless of your intent. Identifying the specific behaviors, attributes, or even privileges you possess that cause friction in the other person is essential. You have to own your part of their stress.
That is a really tough pill to swallow, but it makes so much sense. If you don't know why you make them nervous, you literally can't adjust your approach.
Right. And finally, the fourth question. What are they trying to achieve, and am I helpful to them in that respect?
Which brings us full circle back to the very first pillar, resources.
It all connects.
Yeah.
Once you understand their goals from their perspective, you have to honestly evaluate if you are providing the resources they actually need or if you are acting as a roadblock.
What an incredible journey this framework takes us on. We started by looking at the transactional baseline exchange of the workplace, trading the right resources like socio-emotional support or status.
Yes.
And conferring tailored respect based on whether a person values control, achievement, or status.
Exactly.
And from there, we discovered how to engineer genuine connection using the Fast Friends principles, leveraging vulnerability and authenticity to build real rapport.
Right.
And finally, we learned how to diffuse inevitable conflicts through rigorous perspective taking, just getting out of our own heads to analyze how our colleagues' structural incentives and their hidden anxieties about us drive their behavior.
It completely demystifies the invisible engine of the workplace. It provides a concrete, actionable mechanism for navigating the most complex part of our jobs, which is other people.
Yep.
But this raises an important question, something that stems directly from all this material, but flips the application entirely.
Oh, I like where this is going. What is the question?
Well, this entire deep dive has been focused outward. We've been analyzing other people, learning their performance evaluations, identifying their deep down values, understanding their stressors.
Sure.
But what if you apply the fast friends questions and the rigorous perspective-taking framework strictly to yourself?
Oh, wow. Turning the mirror around.
Exactly. Consider what happens if you honestly analyze how you spend your time, how you react to being evaluated, and what makes you anxious about your colleagues.
That's intense.
If you sat down and answered those escalating fast friends questions all alone, what authentic themes would emerge about your own true values? The provocative thought I want to leave you with is this. If you did that rigorous self-analysis, would the authentic professional you discover be someone you would actually want to collaborate with?
Oh, wow. That is a brilliant and honestly slightly terrifying question to end on.
It is. If you want to fix the invisible engine of your office, you really have to start by looking at your own gears. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the hidden mechanics of professional relationships.
It was a pleasure.
If you're listening to this and thinking about a team dynamic you want to improve, we highly encourage you to try out one of the Fast Friends questions on a colleague this week.
Yes, definitely.
Maybe start with the dinner guest and hold off on the house fire until you've built some real trust. It might just be the conversational trust fall you need to change your whole dynamic at work. Catch you next time.